Hey, what's up guys? John from Old Reading Farm here. Thanks for joining us. In today's video, we are going to do a 1-year review of our Kubota L4701 tractor, talk about our use for it, and see if it's the right tractor for you. Let's get into it. All right, so first things first, I'll tell you a little bit about what we needed it for. So when we were looking for a tractor, we were looking at the L series. And the L4701 as of 2022 is the largest in the standard L series. There is like a grand L series where they go higher. But originally we were looking at the L3301, which is the one step down, or I'm sorry, we were looking at the L3901. There's a 3301, 3901, and a 4701. So my buddy across the street from us has a 3901 and it does really well for him. So that's what we were looking at. And so our needs were, we were looking at land clearing. So I was looking at moving trees around, post hole digging. We now have a stump grinder. We have a rake, so our needs for it were, we were moving wood chips around, moving dirt around. So we needed something that can lift a lot, but was also nimble enough to get in and out of the trees because most of our property is forested. So that's why I was looking at the 3901 because it had, more than 35 horsepower at the PTO, which is the part in the back that runs whatever you have back there. So I'd be able to run, some pretty significant things back there, if we wanted to get a tiller or, like I said, the stump grinder, perhaps a wood chipper, things like that. But then when it came down to it and we were at the dealership, we were looking at the tractors, my wife Catherine was like, you need to get the tractor that is going to last you for the next 10 years because you're not going to come to me in 2 years and say, well, we need a bigger tractor. And she was right. She was 100% right. So we spent more than we were planning on. But so we got the L4701. So this thing has 47 horsepower, versus 39, which is a pretty significant difference. It's a much bigger chassis. Like I said, it's the biggest one in the L series. And so we got it, and we got the backhoe with it, which is the BH92 backhoe. So everything worked out great. So again, our needs for it were like land moving, land clearing, moving logs. And I think especially for the log moving portion, having the bigger tractor makes a big difference. So like I said, when you get a tractor, what you want to look for sort of depends a lot on what your needs are. The L4701 comes with the LA765 loader, which can lift about 1,500 pounds, which is great because, the bucket that comes with it, when it's full, can carry about half a yard. So whether you have topsoil or rocks or wood chips, you want to be able to lift that up and dump it easily without maxing out your whole loader. And so same thing when it comes to logs, because now we have a sawmill, and so we are moving logs all around the property and lifting them up and, gently putting them on the, having that extra lifting ability in the front really makes a big difference, especially because we have a lot of oak around here and oak is super heavy. So being able to lift that makes a big difference. So as you can see, we got the R4 industrial tires on here because we have a lot of sticks. We have a lot of rocks. We have a lot of uneven ground. And so that, made the big difference to have there. And, even though this is the biggest tractor, it's got about a 6 foot from the edge of each tire footprint. So it can still fit, it's still pretty dang nimble. And so, when we were looking at these tractors, I was looking at John Deere's, I was looking at Kubotas. Some people suggested that you get like an LS tractor or a Mahindra or some other like sort of not a main brand, and just said, they're made in the same factory, I'm sure it's fine. And that's all good and great if that's what you want to do. But this Kubota comes with a warranty that is excellent. It also had 0% interest when we got it, which is really great. And it also comes with a K-TAC insurance. And the K-TAC insurance is basically like $250 deductible and they'll fix anything. So that's huge. And one of the big things that I looked for with the front loader is the attachment system. So this baby comes with the skid steer quick attach, which is a universal attachment system where you basically just have those 2 levers and you can connect to any skid steer attachment that has, that same thing. But so this attachment system is much more universal than say the John Deere one, where it's a kind of hook and pin version. And so when you're getting attachments, you don't have to worry about the kind of quick attach that you're getting, because this is universal. So I can go, these pallet forks are from Titan, and so you don't need to worry about getting like a John Deere specific attachment. You can just get, you know, basically any old pallet forks with the skid steer quick attach, and you're good to go. So this works for our bucket. It works for this. If I wanted to get a grapple, most grapples come with that quick attach, and it's easy to take on and off. All right, and then back here we have category 1 3-point hitch and the PTO drive. So we have had back here the backhoe. We also have a carry-all, which is just like a little platform that carries all. And we got this here 6-foot rake, stump grinder, and a PTO post hole digger, all of which have been really easy to get on and off, and have worked really well. Haven't had any problems with this whatsoever. This has done a really good job. I also hooked up an LED light bar on the top here, which will definitely get more use once we're in winter and it gets dark super early. But anyway, so this is worked out really well. And again, you know, this is a universal thing anyway, so not like any sort of 3-point hitch is different than another, but worked out well. So also in terms of maintenance, this has been pretty easy. So I have just over 260 hours on this, so I've done really 2 major maintenances. So they have one big one that you do at 50 hours to change all of the filters and such. So you can see, I'll show you the filters now. And I forget whose video I watched, and I forget, but they had the same tractor and they did the reviews. And one of the things that they said they didn't like was that the oil filters are all on the bottom here and have a chance of getting hit. But since we have the subframe for the backhoe on here, that makes a big difference in protecting the oil filters and such like there. So, you know, overall it's pretty easy to change, and the instruction manual is really good. So there's one filter on this side, and there's 2 other filters here. So I forget which one is which. Like this is the oil filter, or maybe that's the oil filter. And then there's a fuel filter in there somewhere. But you know, besides regular greasing, changing these oil filters is super easy. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So it's nice. You know, there's some other things that you need to do when you get to certain hours, but you know, I have not had any major problems with this. Now, the only problems that I did have were with these front tires. So over yonder, you can probably see that I had a tree company drop some logs. So those are some pines, but I previously have had them bring some oaks. And now what had happened was I was driving on our pile of wood chips that I had over there, and I guess it was a little too soft. And I had too much weight up here, not enough back there, and the tire popped off the rim. So, and that happened both on this side and on this side. So, you know, that kind of stunk, but basically all I needed to do was take this to our local, you know, heavy-duty tire shop. They put a tube in it, and it was all good. But that was really just my own fault. I wasn't properly ballasted in the back, and I had too much weight up here. Now, with these tires here, these back tires are ballasted, so they are filled with like a beet substrate. So some sort of beet product is in these tires, which is pretty cool. But that does help contribute to a lot of the stability. And I mean, you can see this, it's got a pretty wide footprint. So I haven't had any problems with lifting this thing. You know, obviously with a lot of oak logs that we have, I have not been able to lift every log that we've gotten and every rock that we've gotten, you know. So one of the things that we did was, you know, moving some rocks around over here. So rocks like that one, we have some really heavy rocks, and maybe I'll show some of me building the stone wall that's over there. But you know, like all this kind of stuff, I made this hole in this wall here, I think with the backhoe, but it was easy to move. So anyway, with over 260 hours on this tractor, I am super glad that we got the bigger one. This is a 2021 Kubota L4701, and it has been great for us. If your needs are similar to ours, I would highly recommend this guy. Again, have had zero problems with it, minus the tires, but that was my own fault. It's run really well, never not started. Super easy to work with, super easy, low maintenance. Can't go wrong. If you guys have any questions about it, please leave a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.